The fog over the Atlantic had begun to thin slightly, the sun struggling to pierce the gray morning sky, but the water remained restless, rolling with a deceptive calm that belied the chaos to come. Captain Richard Hale stood rigid on the bridge of the USS Lexington, eyes scanning the horizon, muscles taut, every nerve alive with tension. He could sense the rhythm of the convoy beneath him, the creak of steel, the thrum of engines, the faint vibration of cannon fire still echoing from distant German positions. 50 Liberty ships stretched across the horizon, a moving fortress of steel and determination, but Hale knew better than to trust appearances. Somewhere beyond the mist, the German raiders were preparing. They were calculating, patient, precise, and hungry. Lieutenant Rachel Morgan leaned over the radar console, her fingers flying across dials, recalibrating and recalculating with almost supernatural precision. Green blips pulsed like heartbeat signals on the screen, each one a lifeline, each one a target, each one a story waiting to unfold. "Sir," she whispered, voice tight with anticipation, "they're moving again." The radar shows 3 distinct flanking groups forming. Northern, Southern, and, wait, a rapid central approach. They're attempting a coordinated assault, full engagement. Hale's jaw tightened. Full engagement? His voice was calm, but every fiber of him braced for the storm. "Parker, relay immediate orders to all destroyers. Adjust intercept vectors to protect the freighters. Every ship must maintain formation. No exceptions." Parker's young face was pale, lips pressed tight, but his fingers flew across the controls with steady determination. "Orders transmitted, sir. Destroyers adjusting course." His voice wavered, but there was a spark of resolve in his eyes. "I can see them. Over the horizon, 3 groups, coordinated." Hale's gaze hardened. "They've learned from yesterday. We can't afford hesitation. Every man at battle stations. Focus, precision, and courage, every second counts." Rachel's pulse raced as she watched the blips move across the radar. "Sir, the central group is moving faster than the others. If they breach the middle, they could split the convoy, isolate the freighters on port side." She glanced at Hale, cheeks flushed, breath slightly quickened. "We can't let them." Hale stepped closer, hand brushing hers over the console briefly, a fleeting spark of human warmth amid the tension of war. "Then we won't," he said firmly. "Every ship moves as one. Every crew member must trust the others. Parker, mark central approach trajectory. Anticipate their maneuvers." The Atlantic trembled with the first salvo. Cannon fire erupted from the northern horizon, streaking through the fog with explosive precision. Water erupted violently around the convoy, a deadly spray that struck steel decks with sharp force. "Sir," Parker shouted, voice trembling, "northern flank hit. One freighter is taking heavy fire." Hale barked over the intercom, calm and authoritative. "All hands, brace for impact. Suppressive fire on northern raiders' lead vessels. Protect the freighter. Maintain formation." The convoy responded with practiced efficiency. Cannon flashes lit the mist, waves crashed against hulls, engines roared, and crews moved with precision honed from months of training. Hale moved along the bridge, issuing commands with exact timing, anticipating each enemy maneuver, every pulse of radar blip a critical piece of the puzzle. Rachel's hands flew over the radar console, adjusting for speed, angle, and distance. "Sir, the southern raiders are pivoting. They're trying to converge on the port-side freighters. We have to adjust now." Hale's gaze hardened. "Port-side destroyers, intercept immediately. Adjust convoy angle 30 degrees south. Every ship must move as one entity. No gaps. No mistakes." Parker relayed the orders with speed and precision, though his hands trembled slightly. The Liberty ships shifted, their massive hulls cutting through waves in a coordinated ballet of survival. Each crew member understood the stakes. The life of their comrades and the success of the convoy depended on flawless execution. The German raiders executed their assault with deadly skill. Cannon fire streaked across the horizon, water exploded around hulls, decks shuddered violently with each near impact. Hale barked orders over the intercom, voice firm, precise, slicing through the roar of engines, cannon fire, and crashing waves. Concentrate fire on Central Raider Group. Protect the freighters. Suppressive fire continuous. Do not let them breach our lines. Parker's youthful hands moved with furious precision, relaying updates, marking blips, tracking every movement. Sweat poured down his face, his chest heaving, yet his eyes were sharp and determined. Hale's gaze flicked to him briefly, a silent acknowledgement of the boy's courage. Rachel leaned closer again, her shoulder brushing against Hale as she adjusted the radar. Sir, Central Group is closing rapidly. If they break through, the Lexington could be isolated. We need immediate countermaneuvers. Hale exhaled, voice low but commanding. Port and starboard destroyers, pivot inward. Form an arc around the central approach. All ships, maintain firing discipline. Anticipate the attack and preempt it. The Atlantic exploded in chaos. Cannon fire erupted from multiple directions, mist filled with the roar of engines, the screech of metal, and the deafening thunder of shell impacts. Waves surged, crashing over rails, shuddering steel decks, and spraying every officer and crew member with saltwater. Hale barked orders with unbroken rhythm, coordinating evasive maneuvers, anticipating enemy patterns, keeping the convoy in perfect sync. Rachel's eyes never left the radar. Her pulse pounded, hands moving in a blur of precision. Sir, Southern Group is converging. If we don't adjust, portside freighters will be hit simultaneously. Hale's jaw clenched. Rotate destroyers south, angle convoy 20 degrees port. Timing is everything. Parker, mark all trajectories. Suppressive fire nonstop. We hold them here or risk catastrophe. Parker's voice trembled as he relayed orders, but his movements were flawless. The Liberty ships responded, turning, angling, weaving through the Atlantic like a single massive organism, cannon fire and spray creating a deadly symphony. Minutes stretched into hours as the battle raged. Explosions lit the fog in fleeting brilliance, decks shuddered violently, and waves surged higher with every impact. Hale moved along the bridge, scanning, calculating, anticipating, issuing commands. Every decision was a balance between survival and annihilation. Rachel's green-lit radar pulsed like a heartbeat. She leaned close, almost touching Hale, a momentary flicker of human connection amidst relentless chaos. Sir, Central Group is faltering. Destroyer's suppressive fire is working. They're beginning to retreat. Hale's voice was sharp but measured. Keep pressure on them. Do not let up. Every salvo, every maneuver counts until they break. The German raiders, battered and overextended, began to retreat. Their silhouettes shrank in the fog, the Atlantic gradually reclaiming a deceptive calm. Hale exhaled slowly, muscles coiling with relief and exhaustion. Rachel turned to him, cheeks flushed, hands trembling slightly from tension. We did it, she whispered. Hale's hand brushed hers again, lingering slightly, a quiet acknowledgement of shared danger and fleeting warmth. We did, he said softly. Every ship, every hand, every calculation, we survived. Parker allowed himself a rare smile, eyes still scanning the horizon. I think they're really pulling back. Hale pressed his lips into a thin line, gaze fixed on the Atlantic. Yes, but temperate. Somewhere beyond the mist, the German raiders would regroup, calculating their next move. The horizon stretched endlessly, a living entity of threat and opportunity. Every heartbeat mattered, every flicker of radar light, every order, every breath counted. 50 Liberty ships moved steadily onward, gleaming pale steel through the mist, each one a testament to coordination, courage, and human resolve. Crew members wiped sweat and salt from their faces, returning to vigilance, knowing the ocean could erupt at any moment. Hale exhaled slowly, brushing a hand over the railing. The battle was far from over. The Atlantic would test them again. Every man, every woman, every decision mattered. Survival was earned in every wave, every cannon flash, every heartbeat. The Atlantic was deceptively calm now, the fog thinning to a pale, misty veil over the restless waves. Captain Richard Hale stood on the bridge of the USS Lexington, eyes scanning the horizon with a sharp intensity. The previous assaults had tested every ounce of the convoy's skill and coordination, but Hale knew the German raiders were far from done. Somewhere out there, they were regrouping, calculating, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. The smell of salt and gunpowder still lingered, a reminder of the chaos they had survived, yet the tension was far from lifted. Lieutenant Rachel Morgan hovered near the radar console, eyes tracing the faint green blips that marked the German raiders' positions. Her fingers danced over the dials, recalibrating every second, predicting enemy movements with relentless precision. "Sir," she said softly, voice taut with apprehension, "they're forming a concentrated attack. All groups converging on the central convoy. If they succeed, the freighters could be isolated and the Lexington will be in range." Hale's jaw clenched. "We won't let that happen. Parker, double-check the destroyer coordinates. All ships must hold formation. Every man, every gun, every decision counts." Ensign James Parker nodded, his youthful face pale but determined. His hands moved quickly across the communication console. "Orders relayed, sir. Destroyers moving to intercept and shield the central freighters." Rachel glanced at Hale, a flicker of nervous warmth in her eyes. "Captain, it's close. Too close. They're faster than expected." Hale's eyes softened briefly. "Then we match them. Every movement, every maneuver, every shot, we own the ocean here." His hand brushed hers over the console, a fleeting touch, charged with unspoken tension. She swallowed, pulse quickening, but returned to her focus on the radar. Suddenly, cannon fire erupted across the horizon, streaking through the fog like jagged lightning. Explosions sent water spraying violently across the decks, shaking the massive Liberty ships. "Sir!" Parker shouted, voice trembling, central convoy under heavy fire. "Freighters taking hits." Hale barked orders across the intercom, calm yet commanding. "All hands, brace for impact. Suppressive fire on the raiders' lead vessels. Rotate destroyers inward to protect the freighters. Maintain formation." The crew moved with precision, trained yet human, their every action choreographed to survival. Cannon flashes lit the mist, waves crashed against hulls, steel groaned under shockwaves. Hale moved across the bridge, eyes sharp, issuing commands with the precision of a master tactician. Each decision was a heartbeat, each word a lifeline. Rachel's fingers flew across the radar, calculating trajectory after trajectory. "Sir, the Southern raiders are pivoting. They're converging on the portside freighters. We have to adjust immediately." Hale's gaze hardened. "Port destroyers intercept now. Convoy angle 30 degrees starboard. Every ship moves as one. No gaps. No hesitation." Parker relayed orders at lightning speed, hands shaking but precise. Liberty ships twisted through the Atlantic, massive hulls cutting through waves, smoke and spray curling around them, the fog alive with the chaos of battle. Explosions erupted in rapid succession. Decks shuddered violently under the impact of near misses, water surged over rails, cannon fire streaked through the mist with deadly accuracy. Hale barked orders over the intercom, maintaining rhythm and control amid the relentless onslaught. "Concentrate fire on central raider group. Protect the freighters. Suppressive fire nonstop. Every salvo counts." Rachel leaned closer again, almost brushing Hale as she recalculated the blips. "Sir, your central group is faltering under our fire. They're beginning to retreat." Hale's voice was sharp but measured. "Keep pressure on them. Do not let up. Every shot, every maneuver, every decision must be perfect until they break completely." The German raiders, battered and overextended, began to pull back, their silhouettes shrinking in the mist. The Atlantic returned to a deceptive calm, but Hale knew better than to trust appearances. Somewhere beyond the horizon, the enemy would regroup, though their morale was shaken. Hale turned to Rachel, cheeks flushed, hair damp from spray and wind. "We did it," he said softly, his hand brushing hers again in a fleeting moment of relief and connection. "Every ship, every hand, every action, we survived the final assault." Parker allowed himself a small, exhausted smile, gripping the binoculars. "Sir, They're really retreating this time. They won't be back. Hale's gaze swept the convoy. 50 Liberty ships, battered but intact, stretched across the Atlantic, gleaming pale steel under the morning sun. Smoke curled from distant, retreating raiders. Waves crashed against hulls, spray glinting in the sunlight, a reminder of both the battle's fury and the resilience of human courage. Crew members wiped salt and sweat from their faces, returning to vigilance despite the calm. Every eye scanned the horizon, every hand ready for action, but for the first time in hours, there was a sense of triumph, of survival earned through skill, courage, and sheer human will. Rachel exhaled, voice soft but relieved. We actually made it, all of us. Hale's hand lingered near hers, a silent acknowledgement of shared danger, fear, and fleeting warmth. Yes, he said. And we will make it again, if we have to. That's what it means to survive the Atlantic, to survive each other. The wind shifted, carrying the smell of salt and gunpowder, the lingering echo of cannon fire. Hale's jaw tightened, not with fear, but with resolve. They had faced impossible odds, German raiders, and the fury of the Atlantic itself. They had emerged victorious, each crew member a testament to human courage and resilience. As the convoy moved steadily forward, Hale allowed himself a rare smile. The Atlantic, vast and indifferent, had tested them to the limit. They had answered, and in that answer, they had discovered more than survival. They had discovered teamwork, determination, and the quiet strength of human bonds forged in adversity. Rachel's eyes met Hale's one last time, a subtle flicker of connection and understanding. Parker stood nearby, binoculars still raised, surveying the calm waters, his youthful determination now tempered with experience. Every soul aboard had changed, hardened, and strengthened by the trials they had endured. The horizon stretched endlessly, calm now, but full of memory. Waves lapped against the hulls, the sun glinting off steel, mist curling into the sky. Somewhere, the German raiders would regroup, but the Liberty convoy had proven its worth. The Atlantic had been conquered, not by might alone, but by courage, skill, and human determination. And as the ships sailed onward, Hale allowed himself to feel it, a quiet, fleeting sense of victory. The battle was over. The convoy had survived. And somewhere, in the endless expanse of the Atlantic, a story of courage, suspense, and human resolve had been written in steel, fog, and cannon fire.